Hello, it's Melinda from Alexis and Melinda's Art Space coming today with an art journal page. So I'm working in my Trashy Junk Journal, or my collection of just random pieces of paper that come into my house. Some are brochures I've picked up, some is junk mail that's come through my letterbox. So I just did two chunky signatures, and they're all different sizes, all different widths. And if I remember, I'll link the video below of me making this little journal. And I'll also link below another video of me decorating the mermaid that I'll use in this video as well. You'll see the mermaid in a minute. So this book is just to wipe off extra paint if I mix up a colour of paint and have left over, or to take a stencil when it's dirty already with a colour paint or texture paste and just wax some in the book. I was testing out my white sprayer to make sure it's sprayed, hence why I've got those splats on it. So I decided to, this page was already blue, so I decided to throw some more blue at it. So I got out my Delusions paints, and this is one of my stencils from my store. So if I remember, I'm not sure whether this one's up yet, it'll be up there soon. I will link that below as well. If I do say I'm going to link something and I forget or I don't do it, just leave me a comment below and I'll add the link. Sometimes I do these voiceovers and then a few days later I go and upload them or schedule them and I just forget what I say. Terrible, and I should make notes. So just drying off that, just doing that with a makeup sponge. I know it's very hard to see, but most of it's covered up anyway, which is really silly by the end, but you can see a few little pieces of it. Just drying that with my heat gun, trying to speed up the drying process. I should have cut that little bit out, shouldn't I? How are you all going today? Welcome to our new subscribers. This is one thing I do with the stencils. So there's Delusions paint on top of the stencil, so basically I took my water brush and just brushed all over it, just activating the water, or activating the paint, and then just sort of turned it upside down and smushed it on the page. So I've got some more decoration on that page to use at a later date. It's handy to have a book like this because you're basically making backgrounds for other projects. When I put this book together, I thought maybe I'll tear out the pages and use them. As you can see, all the pages are all different sizes. There's little bits, there's big bits. So I thought I might tear them out and use them, but I've decided to keep it as a journal. So colouring these images, the seahorse is from something Alexis printed off my computer. That's printed on some cardstock. I believe the faces and the creatures just below that are printed on normal photocopy paper. Just doing a bit of basic colouring with some Daiso water-soluble crayons. Those were $2.80 for 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, I think it's 20 crayons. I just love the colours. I've got several water-soluble medias at the moment. I've got gelatos, I've got other crayons and that, and I was at Daiso about 6 months ago and saw these and thought, I love the colours, I'll give them a try. I have done a review on these on my channel as well. If you search Daiso, you will find that. So just using a water brush to activate them. I'm not real good with shading with the colouring. Basically, I just want a bit of colour on there so it's not white. That stamped image is actually from a mermaid. It's a Prima Doll stamp. And I've actually filled her tail and her fins in with Linda Trashy candy wrappers, or lolly wrappers, lolly as we call them in Australia, or candy wrappers if you're American. And I did do that on a video. It was the idea came about of it. Trashy Junk Journal and Flourish Journals is a swap group I belong to. It's a Facebook group, and they were doing that as a swap. Now swapping overseas is quite expensive, so I just decided to make some of the dolls myself. I do a few swaps in Australia. It's just postage overseas. I just do those less often because it's, yeah, quite expensive. So these little critters with hats and sort of shell-like bodies, they were just a printout from the computer. When I changed my printer over, I decided to use up all the printer's ink, so basically until there was nothing left, and just googled a whole lot of collage sheets and just printed them onto normal photocopy paper with my inkjet printer. And it was amazing. My printer was saying it was out of ink, And it lied a little because I printed another 200 or 300 pages before it completely died. So don't listen to your printer when it says it's out of ink, because usually it's got quite a few more 100 pages to go. So basically now with my new printer, I don't listen to the printer. It says it's low on ink, low on ink, low on ink, replace the cartridge, replace the cartridge. I go, oh, sorry, oh, that yawning, terrible. With my printer, I wait until it stops, basically. Probably not the best thing to do, but I like to get all the use out of my cartridges. I print a lot on my computer, and most of them are inkjet printers, and I find if you're very quick and don't scrub over them too much with water, then you can use them. Sometimes a little bit of the ink does smudge, but I didn't find that in this case. I find the older the piece of paper, like I probably printed these 6 months ago, the less water reactive they are. But unless you're super organised, you don't really know what you want to print 6 months in advance. Or unless you're like me, you print a whole bunch and don't use them for a while. So just fussy cutting out my mermaid. I really like the trashy tail on her. I love the white through her main body. It was sort of white, sort of almost a floral design with the green. They were salted caramel chocolates, and I can't have them anymore. Boo-hoo! But they are delicious. I love anything salted caramel, but no more. I don't eat them anymore. I usually only buy them when they're super special. And they had boxes of them in my supermarket, half price at Christmas time, so I did indulge in a couple of boxes. But sometimes I just want to buy boxes for the box, and I do have the boxes, the cardboard boxes there, because they are that same beautiful green, and I will do something with them one day. I've got a whole collection of food boxes that I will make into something one day, or incorporate into a journal. Just one day hasn't arrived yet. So just fussy cutting. I should have cut all this out, shouldn't I? With the fussy cutting. Oh my god! Words, I think I left them behind. You know what it is? It's a lack of sugar. I haven't been eating a lot of processed or sugary foods lately, which can make your brain do silly things. Then again, my brain was doing silly things before I got off sugar. So what have we been up to? Well, when I'm filming this will go up sometime in September. I haven't got my schedule in front of me, so I don't know when this video is going to go up. But we're now into spring, so hopefully we're going to see some warmer weather, which would be great. It's been so cold in Australia at the moment. Sitting here without the heater on tonight. Alexis has gone to bed and she's got the heater in her room, and I'm not turning the heater on in the lounge room, because I don't want another big power bill. We just got our winter bill and it was massive. Okay, so deciding where to position them, and because this Prima doll was done on 210 GSM cardstock, I'm just using some Matisse Gel Medium, thick viscosity. I was going to say velocity, but there's no L in it. Basically, it's like a heavy gel medium, and I also use that on the paper shapes as well with the spatula, because that's what I was using for the big one. And I find putting this underneath, especially when I'm using the gel, especially when I'm using the inkjet prints, if I put the heavy gloss gel medium underneath and sort of scrape over it with the spatula, the ink doesn't seem to run. Plus, I've also got the water-soluble Daiso crayons, which do reactivate with water, so I didn't really want to go over the top with a liquid matte gel medium. And I find this one, because it's more of a sort of, it's probably the texture of texture paste, like it's really thick, and my bottle is probably, oh my god, it was prior to Alexis. Wow, that's old. Considering my baby's 9.5, nearly 10 this year. So it's probably got thicker as I get older too. I'm trying to use up a lot of old stuff this year. That's my theme for the year. I use up old stuff, because I opened a couple of pots or something the other day and they just don't last. The manufacturers don't make airtight lids, and I find some certain things after a year or two open, like they're great when they've got the manufacturer's seal, but once you open them at home, They don't tend to last that long. So just giving that a good dry. So bringing in my recycled tomato sauce container, or ketchup if you're in America, and decided to put a coat of my homemade clear gesso on. Basically just wanted to seal everything in because I do want to come over the top of it with other stuff. So the clear gesso just sort of seals everything in, and I especially wanted to seal the Daiso crayons. So I find my clear gesso, which is basically water, school glue, and it's a white powdery substance, and for the life of me I can't remember what the name of it is, but you can Google homemade clear gesso on YouTube, and that's where I got the recipe from. I find putting that over a water soluble material like the Daiso crayons doesn't actually water react with it, as opposed to like a Liquitex matte medium, so something more fluid. So then I decide the page needs something, so I go and grab some scrap papers. This is a scrap paper from an Audi scrapbooking pad. Well, this would be about 18 months old, so we've got an old theme happening here. And decide to make some bubbles with my punches. So I've got a 3/4 of an inch punch and a 1 inch punch, or it could be a 1/2 inch punch. Okay, I'll start again. 2 different size circle punches. I know one's a 1 inch. Don't know whether it's 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch. Possibly 3/4 of an inch. Doesn't matter. And I love making these rings, and I love offsetting them. So I usually punch a small circle, and then I'll go over it with a larger punch. So you can do that with basically any size punch, as long as you have 2 shapes the same size. Or you can have 2 shapes that are different sizes. I actually saw someone on YouTube do it with a hexagon, and then punched a small heart out of it, and it looked really, really cute. So then I decide to do some, what am I doing now? Oh, I'm doing some square, and I don't know why I made them square. Seaweed for the bottom. I probably made them square because of words. Now I know why I made them square, because it's got the text paper, and that was just a jelly printed wipe off paper that I had it there as well. I could sit here for hours and cut things out of paper and paper pierce and put a whole collage together. It makes me happy doing this. It's fun. I really like how this one turned out. It was the first page I've done in this sort of altered junk journal. Since I did this page quite a while ago, I've done a second page this weekend in the book, and I will share that with you soon as well. So just using the Liquitex matte medium in the bottle. I've said this in a few videos, but I'll say it again. I find squeezing it out of the bottle is very wasteful. Next time if I get that product, which won't be soon because I've got several other tubs of stuff, the same sort of stuff, Mod Podge, gloss gel medium, and other things I've picked up at clearance prices, I will put that into another bottle where I can, or another tub, so I can just dip the paintbrush in, because I did go through that bottle quite quickly. And I think the problem is I squeeze way too much out, and then when I have way too much on my page, I just sort of put it all over the page and put it everywhere. So I think that might sort of slow me down. And I'm actually using the lid. I believe I'm using the lid of the Daiso crayons. Aren't I lazy? I am too. Oh, you lazy person, Melinda. Go get something else to put it on. Oh, I'm a lazy crafter. I am dreadful. So just using a water brush, even though it's not using the water brush feature, that was the one that was sitting there, so I decided to use it. So just giving that a dry now. I like the matte gel medium, but there'll be several layouts coming up when I open my new pots of gloss as well. I prefer not the gloss, but hey, if gloss is on clearance and matte medium's not, I'm going to buy the gloss. I'm not a brand snob. I will buy anything that's on clearance, as long as it works. So now I decide, what am I doing? I've got my Inktense pencil there. I'm in the market, and I've said this in a few latest videos, for a Stabilo All pencil that I see so many YouTubers use on their layouts. This one is an Inktense pencil, and it struggles to draw some of the time on sort of matte gel medium and paints and stuff, but I believe a Stabilo All just will sort of draw on all, as its name suggests. So I'm in the market for one of those. I haven't been able to track down one yet. I did track them down at a craft fair I was at last weekend in Melbourne called Paperific, and by the time I realised the stand next to us was using them, because I was sort of peeping around the corner when I wasn't busy, and they were sold out, so they will be getting some more in, but I'm not paying postage to get one pencil posted to me. So I'm doing another show in October, so I may see if I can track one down and probably buy a couple, because I believe they're not that expensive. My American supplier doesn't have them, unfortunately. So I love how activating the Inktense pencil, and the Inktense pencil is a bit different to a normal watercolor pencil. A watercolor pencil is water reactive and it stays reactive. This Inktense pencil, and I just bought a black and a white one in open stock. Well, they call open stock just individual pencils. It dries, as it's ink based, it dries permanent, so it won't reactivate with the water. And it's not as, like you hit a Stabilo pencil with water and it's just beautiful. This one, sometimes you have to do the same thing twice to get the same sort of result. So nearly finished. I have put some still photos at the end, just doing a bit where I didn't think I went. I'm in the market for a lot of things, but sort of trying to justify what I want. I've got a whole set of, I think I've got 72 watercolor pencils, which Alexis and I use fairly often. In the market, I'd love a set of 72 Inktense pencils. I think that would be lovely, but they're a couple of $100, and seriously, I really can't justify that at the moment. I have a whole big want list, and I'm sure every crafter is the same. You're all nodding your head. There's a lot of things you want, but really, do we need them? I'm trying to be good, and if I've got a similar supply, I am tending not to buy them. Hence why I've got 72 watercolor pencils. Do I really need 72 Inktense pencils? Yes, I do, but my credit card said no, you don't. Very rude. Okay, off on a tangent, nearly finished. Still photos are coming up, just giving that a bit more drying time. I often will dry the page from the back as well, and sometimes that will, if your page is especially curling, drying from the back is quite handy. So that was rather quick. I forgot I picked that up at the end, so here are some still photos. So trying to show you some of the texture. And I love how some of the original paper is showing through in the background, some of the text as well. Bye for now. We'll catch you again. Thanks for watching.